Hello, welcome to this installment of the attached playlist. Today we're going to discuss Season 3. Every season I have a villain. Season 1 was definitely Jessica. Season 2 was not Shake, unlike most people. It was more Shayna, but less so the second time I watched it. I watched it for this. Third season was Zaynab. But anyway, let's get into it, as everyone is saying these days. Season 3 was way more controversial, got a lot more press. The whole situation between Cole and Zaynab became very, very well analyzed. He's not my friend, but I feel like he is. Spidey from the language arts school, or whatever his channel is called. I really enjoy his stuff. But the thing about his stuff, so I will say this: he is very much a scientist in the way he couches everything. He says, "I can't know this, but this is what I know." I really appreciate that about him. However, he doesn't take into account the wide ranges in personality types. And there are people who, despite rationality, they aren't rational players. I've tried to date women where you can literally see all the text messages, and I will have said something, and suddenly it's her who's saying it. Like, what? And this person in particular was constantly revising events in her head. They were never the same twice. Anytime she told me, like, what she thought happened, there'd be a tweak. Something would be here, something would be there. Something I said to her, she said now, she now owns it, it's her words. So yeah, it's hard to work with people who are not rational actors, who don't have true memories. So, even my wife has encountered a person, she was roommates with this person, that every man she talked to, suddenly she was banging 3 times a day. Like, what? Just, where does this stuff come from? It's not even based on reality. I think we have a shared experience, and these things don't add up. So when Cole and Zaynab are actually together, and they're sharing a space, and they're actually interacting in a very prolonged way, and Cole said something in which he is a clumsy man. The words he says, he's not careful. He says exactly what he's thinking. And that's very endearing. And I think it takes a certain kind of person to be able to handle that. Because I'll let you guys know right now, I am not objective. Cole and I felt a very strong kinship with Cole. When I watched him be torn down by Zaynab, I flashed back to a very long relationship that I had with someone that was constantly revising events and tearing me down and minimizing her behavior. Anyway, so I'm not objective, and I'll admit that right now. But when Zaynab ran out and said she was leaving, and then she sat on the porch, it was so obvious to me that she was waiting for him, that she was never really going to go that far. She was just milking the drama. When melts my gushy little heart, the things she says are very rehearsed, very planned out. Even from episode 1, she profiled all the men. She's like, this guy's this, this guy's this, this guy's this. She had it all figured out. She was looking for her mark. Whether or not she's conscious of this, I admit she's probably not conscious of what she's doing. But yeah, Cole got snookered. He got snookered. Anyway, so Cole, being very picky, he says, could be fearful avoidant, could be dismissive avoidant. The picky focusing on perceived flaws and on to the next. I get attachment styles have their place. You don't necessarily want someone that can't have deep conversations first thing in the morning. I get that. That's great. I don't want that either. I have married a woman that's very challenging, and I really like it. And if I was dating, I once wrote this long 3-page summary of the lovemaking that I had with this woman. And I sent it to her, and she said, cute. I was like, well, cute? Really? It wasn't supposed to be cute. It was an ode. So I could see myself being with someone who isn't stimulating. Or, I mean, she was lovely. I did love her, but no, not enough. I would start to resent her for withholding from me, even though she wasn't. I would see her as starving me when she wasn't. There wasn't a lot of food there, and that's okay to sort of understand that about myself and not choose that for myself. I still loved her. She was a very good woman. There would have been a lot of happiness, but would it have been satisfying in the way that I prefer? And that's okay to acknowledge that. Anyway, Matt and Colleen. Colleen's very anxious. She was rejected twice by 2 different men. They saw it as very shallow. Oh, she's flexible. They focused a lot on that. Like, oh, she's flexible, but maybe there's not a lot of stress. Maybe that's a reputation of ballet dancers. I don't see it. I've met my children used to go to dance school, and a lot of the instructors were very engaging talking to them. I don't have that perception of dancers, so I don't know why anyone would. I don't know if that's why, or if it's just she really was. It's cute, and that's not enough for a lot of men. It's not enough for me. So I get it. But Matt, really, you chose Matt? Are you still together? Matt is exhausting. The closest thing I'd compare Matt to, shoot, I don't even have the other season. I want to say the next partner. I would just the level of exhaustion. Danielle. I didn't want to get her name wrong. Matt, man. Dude, I get it. Your wife cheated on you. That sucks. She had a baby with someone else. It sucks. That would hurt. It'd be hard to get over. But holy crap. I'm not sure you're ready, dude. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you are. Man. Yeah, he would exhaust me. Vaya con Dios. That's all I have to say to that. They're both very anxious. It makes sense that they got together. Clinging to each other in desperation. Bartise and Nancy. Bartise, he comes off as very dismissive, but he has that fear. He talked a bit about fear a lot. I would say he's a very strong, dismissive, fearful avoidant, maybe. And his macho attitude, too. When Andrew was talking to Nancy, he came over like, what? You have a problem here? What? The machismo, the toxic masculinity. And what's funny about that is he had spent days completely ignoring Nancy, according to the editing and the way it was presented in the show. For him to come over there all strong like, that was intriguing to me. I knew Batiste didn't want her after meeting the family. Because it's said that if you want to know what your woman looks like when she's old, look at the mom. And he's very athletic. He focuses a lot on that on the physicality. That's why he was drawn to Raven so much in the beginning. That was very shallow, and I'm glad they both decided to go the other way. But I'm not surprised with the result of that. She can do better. She was selling herself way too short. Nancy, if you hear this, if you read this, if you see this, do better. Batiste, he wasn't ready for you, and you deserve better. But I don't think Andrew's right. I don't think that's the right choice either. Who knows? I'm not there. I am an uneducated person, making very broad sweeping and very confident assumptions about many other people who won't affect my life. But I can say with confidence, because I don't know them and I wasn't there. Brendan and Alexa, beautiful, boring. There's one a season, it seems. It's like Kelly and the KK's, Kelly and Kenny and Kelly from season 1. There's always a boring couple every season. Brendan and Alexa, made for each other. Great, I'm so happy for them. Brendan really believed love is blind. Alexa came off as very anxious. She's like, marry me now. Are we engaged? What? I don't know what's happening. It was just kind of funny. Brendan, a little bit of fear in him, but he comes off as very secure. I think he's come a long way. I have some in common with him too. I was once fearful, but I've become mostly secure. Okay, SK, nothing but security from that man. He never winced nor cried aloud. He was so steady. Raven. Her discomfort with emotions, the way she's pacing the room, the way she's exercising, anytime anything got heavy, or eating, just eating. Anytime things got heavy, I know to maintain a certain physicality you have to eat. That's fine. But I would be triggered by her lack of focus. But I understand emotions are uncomfortable. I think she needed someone to fall in love with her through the wall. Or she needed to see that it is possible, because she's a smoke show, and people would see that and immediately start talking to her because of that. Because for some reason, people think smoke show, good sex. Not the same. Smoke show does not equal good sex. That's a fact. Things don't always fit. Sometimes there's a lot of room to wiggle. There's no contact. Sometimes there is. Sometimes it's too small. Sometimes, things don't always fit. Smoke show does not equal good sex. And that's a problem for a lot of people. It's better to have a smoke show that is very good. But a lot of the good comes from the emotions, not this. This is almost irrelevant to the goodness of this. I also think a lot of men don't understand when they're doing the one-night stand stuff, the whole one-night stand, okay, it was bad sex. I couldn't know that from the first try. There's a lot of variables. Newness is a factor. Emotional connection makes that so much more long-lasting and powerful. But I think a lot of men don't understand that ejaculation does not mean orgasm. So Andrew was kind of onto something there. Some people ejaculate with no orgasm. Sometimes there's orgasm and no ejaculation. They're not always together. So that's the one thing from Andrew that we can all learn, is they're not always linked. And some people think, well, it happened so fast, or it wasn't very good. It's because you ejaculated and you didn't orgasm, dude. It happens, it's okay. Premature happens to everyone, at least once probably in their life. But it doesn't mean it can't improve, as long as with some self-knowledge. Some self-knowledge is important. Anyway, the whole thing, Raven really needed someone that didn't see the smoke show and approached her for the complexity. She's more than just that. attractiveness isn't the only important part of attraction. I also understand that they're not together anymore either, which is fine. I get it. He was a grad student. She made it very clear. She has certain expectations. It's good that they're both new going in. They said no. They pursued it a little longer. It didn't work out. That's okay. I like that they went into it. So, a lot of the videos I've watched on YouTube about interactions between relationships and stuff, a lot of people misconstrue what is considered male traits, traits of the young, with the reason that they can't get along with someone. Oh, he was too young. Oh, he's a man. He's not emotionally available. It's not gender. I have dated emotionally unavailable women. I have dated emotionally available women. I've dated young. I've dated old. I dated someone younger than someone I married, who is more mature than the woman I married. Not my current situation. But maturity is not determined by age. Maturity is not determined by male, female. A lot of it has to do with attachment style, which is why I bring this. That's why I do this channel, because it's very important. A lot of people misconstrue this stuff. Yes, a lot of men are dismissive avoidance. Yes, they are emotionally unavailable. And a lot of it has to do with what is a man? A man is in this box, let's say. Anytime a man steps out of the box, what do we call them? We call them the P word, which I don't like. We call them gay. We don't teach men how to be men, we teach them how not to be women. And a lot of men, because of that, develop dismissive avoidant traits. They become emotionally unavailable, and attachment style changes over time. So it's easy to see why it could be associated with male gender. It is not a male trait. But it makes sense. Don't cry. What's crying? Emotional availability, vulnerability. Don't cry. I used to joke that men are vulnerable all the time because we have our gonads on the outside of our body cavity. Anyway, I love this show. It is beautiful to see this in real time. I can't wait to start getting into movies. One of my favorite movies of recent history was an Amazon exclusive. It was the guy from New Girl? No. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh, I Want You Back. I really want to do that. That's on my list. But Jane the Virgin was a fearful avoidant. The guy from The Good Place with the really long hair, the art teacher situation, he was classic dismissive avoidant. He was emotionally not there. The way she waffled between Jane the Virgin, the way she waffled between The Good Place art teacher guy and the Always Sunny in Philadelphia guy. Classic fearful avoidant patterns. Both the male and the female lead who found each other being both dumped by their partners. They were both very anxious, very attached to one another, very easily. It's classic, but we can talk about that at a later date. I really want to get into some movies. I want suggestions, please, give me something to do, other than season 4, which is next. Thank you. Comment, like, subscribe. Please, I'm having fun. I hope someone else is too.